Yes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Up in Your Business with Kerry McCoy, a production of flagandbanner.com. Through storytelling and conversational interviews, this weekly radio show and podcast offers listeners an insider's view into the commonalities of successful people and the ups and downs of risk-taking. Connect with Kerry through her candid, often funny, and always informative weekly blog, where you'll read, learn, and may comment about her life as a 21st century wife, mother, daughter, and entrepreneur. And now it's time for Kerry McCoy to get all up in your business.
Thank you, Sun Gray. If right now you're sitting at your computer, you might want to watch the show live on Up in Your Business with Kerry McCoy's Facebook page. Our guest is currently trying to figure out how to get there on his phone. Have you figured it out?
I'm working on it.
Okay, you keep going. We got a few minutes here. But if you missed today's show, no worries. A YouTube video will be made available next week. This show began as a calling. After 4 decades of running a small business called Arkansas Flag and Banner, a.k.a. flagandbanner.com, I felt I had something to share. I wanted to create a platform for not just me, but for other business owners and successful people to pay forward their experiential knowledge in a conversational way. And my guest today's experience is astounding. Originally, my team and I thought we'd be teaching each other. Originally, my team and I thought we'd be teaching others. But it didn't take long before we realized the person's learning was us. Listening to our guests has been both educational and inspiring. To quote the Dalai Lama, when you talk, you are only repeating what you already know. But if you listen, you may learn something new. The act of listening is learning. A Greek philosopher, Diogenes, wrote, "We have 2 ears and 1 tongue so that we may listen more." After listening to over 150 successful guests, I've learned that many of them believe in a higher power, have the heart of a teacher, and are creative at building their lives and careers. That pretty much sums my guest up today. Before we start, I want to let you know if you miss any part of today's show, want to hear it again, or share it, there's a way, and Sun Gray will tell you how.
Listen to all UIYB past and present interviews by going to Up in Your Business with Kerry McCoy's YouTube channel or Facebook page, arkansasonline.com, flagandbanner.com's website, or subscribe to our podcasts wherever you like to listen by searching Up in Your Business with Kerry McCoy. And if you'd like to receive timely email notifications of each week's upcoming guests, go to flagandbanner.com, click Radio Show, and join the email list. Back to you, Kerry.
Thank you, Gray. My guest today is Mr. Chris James. He is well known for his achievement as a national award-winning spoken word poet laureate. But like so many creative people, he is more than that. Chris is a playwright, educator, photographer, author, producer, TED Talk speaker, and survivor. As a young black man fathering a child at 16, he has walked the walk of hopelessness and homelessness, and now talks the talk of empowerment as he pays his experience and knowledge forward through a variety of artistic mediums. In 2016, he was featured on the front cover of Arkansas Times newspaper for being one of Arkansas's top visionaries. Chris is an entrepreneur. He founded the House of Art, Arkansas's only poetry venue. He is a member of the Foreign Tongues Poetry Slam team, who ranked 2nd place in the world in 2014, and he is a K-12 artist teacher conducting across the country workshops that educate on racial barriers and socioeconomic challenges and how to overcome it. And on his side hustle, he's passionate about mental health awareness. It is a pleasure to welcome to the table what his friends say about him: the man, the myth, the educator, the impactful Mr. Chris James.
Yeah.
You can tell I've been all over your website.
Yeah, you have. I appreciate that. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
That was like the best introduction I've ever had in life.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
So the name of your website is called The Chris James Journey.
Mm-hmm.
thechrisjamesjourney.com, which is a really apt name for your website and is really the core of everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just start with this journey today. Let's start at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your family.
Man, I grew up with my mother, my two brothers, and that was it. Family now. I'm the father of 5 beautiful children. My twin daughters are right over there in the next studio looking at us.
But mother told you when you were young that most black men by the age of 25 will be either dead or in jail.
Oh yeah, America taught me that. The world taught me that. And I seen that. All my life. I'm still seeing that. Just being an educator. And just being a community activist. I'm seeing that truth. And it's a reality. A lot of young people, black boys and girls are, either dying physically way before the age of 25 or dying mentally and emotionally, becoming parents at 13, 14, 15, or dealing with traumatizing situations that ruin their lives mentally and emotionally. So yeah, and that's one of the main reasons I do what I do today, because I realize that so many people who come from where I come from are dealing with a level of mental illness because of the form of poverty we come from. So yeah. So
your 3rd grade teacher asked you.
You've been listening to that.
I loved it.
Come on, Kerry.
Come on. Your 3rd grade teacher asked you what?
What I wanted to be when I was alive, and my response. My 3rd grade teacher asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and my response was alive, because by that time I had seen more black boys die than I was able to digest. You've been listening to my poetry. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that's a real response. I mean, I don't think you could ask I don't think if you asked my kids what they want to be when they grew up in the 3rd grade, if you asked them what they wanted to be when they grew up, I don't think they would have said alive. Mm-hmm. That's a reality.
Yeah.
So there is fatherless children, which is one of the socioeconomic problems you speak about.
Yeah.
Incarceration.
Yeah.
Homicide.
Yeah.
Black on black homicide is amazing. The dropout rate in school, and then the teen pregnancy, and that's a lot. Those are the issues that are in your poetry.
Yeah.
So how do you talk about that how do you speak about that without making people defensive?
Well, I don't think people will get defensive about me speaking about it, because everything I speak about, I've lived. Again, I was 16 when I became a dad. I was 16 when both of my brothers went to prison for 25 and 40 years. I was fatherless and still fatherless, at age 30. So everything I'm speaking about, I've experienced. And I think being that I have experienced it, it allows young people. So when I go into that alternative school with kids who are only there because their probation officers told them they had to be, or kids who are angry or currently dealing with their level of trauma, they're able to receive me a lot differently than they probably would receive you, because I've experienced it. So they're more willing to hear me tell them that it's possible to overcome what they're experiencing. And I talk about it because I think it's important. It's important to identify your struggles so you can then create solutions to overcome. Because if you don't see that staying in your neighborhood and selling drugs or breaking in houses and having babies over and over and over and over by different men and blase, like if you don't identify that that's a problem in your community, you're going to continue to live in that cycle of problems. So through my poetry, through my art, through my stage plays, through my books, I'm letting you know that this right here is harming us as a people, as a community. And so I don't think it's a challenge at all, or it's people become defensive. I think people become aware and they become enlightened when I shed light on it.
So you were 15 when you got your first job. Why did you start working at 15?
Man, I probably had my first job when I was like 7. I've been hustling all my life. I remember being like 7 years old. My stepdad and my mom worked at McDonald's, so I got all the Happy Meal toys, and I had a yellow cart, a yellow tub of toys, and we stayed on Willow Street in North Little Rock, around the corner from Argenta. And I remember just being in front of the house selling those toys for change. I remember being in the I think when I was 10, my birthday gift was a lawnmower, and I remember cutting my first yard for $20. At age 10, I remember having a pear tree at my house on 4700 Roger Street in Rose City and selling pears, and also having a pecan tree, selling pecans. I remember riding my bike past a brother named Iman, who still owns Watkins Detail Shop, and I was probably like 10 or 11 at that point, and he hired me to pick up the trash and the cigarette butts that was around his car detail shop car lot. So I was always hustling because I know my mom was working hard, and even though she was working hard, we still often had the lights off. We still dealt with struggle, because that's what comes with being black in America. Often with a lack of education or just because you black, to be honest, and so I always just felt the desire to hustle. And I saw my brothers hustling. They were hustling a little differently than I was. They were selling drugs and just involved in the streets the way that they were. But I wanted to hustle. So ever since a kid, I've been looking to make money for myself.
Did you sell drugs?
Yeah, I've participated in negative activities before.
And your brothers sold drugs, sold crack? I mean, you talk about it on your...
Yeah.
You talk
about it
online.
through my poetry.
This is not a secret.
I ain't never been asked so bluntly before. You sell crack before, right?
You've never met my mother.
I clearly have not.
That's not true.
Kerry
I met you. I know you.
This is my homegirl. But yeah, and because of their actions, again, they're in prison right now for 25 and 40 years, which is unfortunate. So yeah.
But they're dead.
No. My brothers are alive. Okay, so I can tell you listen to my poem.
Yes, it said they were dead.
But the reference in the poem was a metaphor. It says, I haven't went to visit my brother in 5 to 6 years they've been gone, because every time I visit, it feels like I'm reliving their funerals, and the caskets are their gravesite. No, the jail cells are their caskets, and the prison sentences are the writing on their tombstones. So
I see.
So that's the metaphor. The metaphor is, so it's like, I feel like they lost their chance at living because of these jail cells. So the jail cell is, the penitentiary, the jail cell is the casket, and the writing on the tombstone, or the sentence, those sentences are the writing on the tombstone. So yeah, so they're very much alive.
So when I met you, you and I were both at the Maya Angelou Project and fundraiser, which gives scholarships to young people to go to college. And you were a guest poet.
Yes, ma'am.
And you got up and you started reading poetry. Do you remember which one you read? And I started crying, and I thought, golly, this wine's really good. I'm crying. What's wrong with me? But then you said that you told me, you said, well, later I read this to a bunch of teachers in class, and they all started crying too. And if they're drinking at school, then we got really problems with the education system.
Yeah, I think you cry because you're human first.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, I do remember.
Can you do it?
The poem? Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you cash out me $5. No, I'm just a joke.
Throw him $5. Somebody throw him $5. Golly, is.
Yeah, I got you though. So the piece was called,
What's it called?
Imperfect Picture. And I wrote this piece, man, like 2012. So it's about to be 8 years ago. 8 years now since I wrote it. I just jumped right into it. We ready?
Do it.
All right, cool beans. I think this is dope. Hold on, let me just show this quick advertisement. Flag and banner.
And this is Chris James about to do the poetry. What's the name of the poem?
Imperfect Picture.
Imperfect Picture.
Yeah, you can check out the video to this poem on my YouTube, The Chris James Journey on YouTube and all that good stuff. Welcome to the city of death, where they don't live long, and the children are grown by the time they 15 years old. And the summers are cold, and the winters are hot, and sunshine don't last that long. Welcome to the life of a child in the ghetto. Imagine Imagine gunshots from the pistol of a young gangster being powered by poverty and anger. Aiming a chamber aimlessly in an open area where children run and play with no regard to danger. After all, they was just hanging until cold steel penetrated the youthful bodies of 3 black boys playing ball on the court to 21. Imagine a week later, the 15-year-old shooter shooting his own self in the head. Neighbor taking out her garbage and found him dead in an alleyway where his blood stains still lays beside the dumpster. I guess he felt life was best unlived. I saw the Reaper keeping close watch, watching his time on his watch for the time to take the soul of a son of a single mother. I saw all their mothers crying and screaming and jumping over the church pews while the pastor preached from the pulpit. Friends and cousins wearing t-shirts that read, "Gone but not forgotten," knowing they'll forget them as soon as time has gone by. The only people left hurting is these mothers who are crying and dying for a chance to see their children alive one last time. Is it ironic that death stay close to young lives, like pimps to pros, crack fiends to dope, slave masters to rope, ready to choke the life of the black beauty? So these streets keep calling, and sons telling ghetto soldiers keep falling into the traps of trap houses, trapping their adolescents with promises of respect and imaginary stripes of honor, and a little bit of money to keep their mothers' hungry children from going hungry. Hell, it's a win-win to them. Those who knows what it means to be poor, peruse through the raggedy Converse shoes of those kids and tell me, what would you do if your lights and water were off and you were hungry and stinking? What would you do? One of my students came to school last week and he slept the entire day. I said, "Hey man, why you don't come to my class and sleep your whole life away?" He said it's more peaceful in a classroom full of kids cursing than it is at my home. And I just stood there with no response to his pain. He woke up and said, "Mr. James, what would you do?" Imagine a young girl pregnant with a 3rd child in the 10th grade. She said her daddy was the father of all 3, but he didn't want to claim him or feed him. These words flowed off her lips easy, as if it was a normal situation to be the baby mama of a rapist, but she keep coming to school every Monday. Ain't that something? That life can be so full of chaos, but still you find the courage to live on. It's amazing how God keep giving birth to hope and faith, born from a womb of obstacles thought not to be overcome, like slaves singing songs to the moonlight at night. Follow the drinking God. Negro spirituals telling us to hold on. We can make it if we move by faith, but not by faith alone. These children at the bottom of the barrel, our mission at hand. Grab their hands instead of saying we can't save them all, we can't save them all, we can't save them all so many times until we convince our own selves that we can't save them all. And we can't, then who will? Nobody. Because we are on the front line, the expected heroes of their adolescence, and they are waiting for us to save them. This picture is painted for viewing, so view it on this canvas created by young restless children who are dying for the opportunity to live, with the potential to be more than drug dealers, crackheads, prisoners, or dead. I can't imagine giving up on these beautiful young people who were burning with brilliance, because so many have already given up on themselves. And sitting back watching them die off slowly is no different from being a murderer. So I often ask myself, am I a part of the solution or the continuance to this 21st century genocide? That's that piece. Thank y'all. Amen, amen.
That was
Snaps.
Chris James. What's the name of that song poem?
Imperfect Picture.
That is an imperfect picture. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with the man Arkansas Times newspaper calls one of Arkansas's top visionary, Chris James, educator and renowned poet. And if you like what you just heard, stay tuned. More after the break.
You're listening to Up in Your Business with Kerry McCoy, a production of flagandbanner.com. Over 40 years ago, with only $400, Kerry founded Arkansas Flag and Banner. During the last 4 decades, the business has grown and changed. Over this time, Kerry's business and leadership knowledge grew. As early as 2004, she began sharing her knowledge in her weekly blog. In 2009, she founded the nonprofit Friends of Dreamland Ballroom, and in 2014, Brave Magazine, a biannual publication. Today, she has branched out into this very radio show, YouTube channel, and podcasts. Each week, you'll hear candid conversations between her and her guests about real-world experiences on a variety of businesses and topics that we hope you'll find interesting, inspiring, and educational. Stay up to date by going to flagandbanner.com and joining our email list. You'll receive our popular Water Cooler Weekly email that notifies you of upcoming guests, happenings at Dreamland Ballroom, sales at flagandbanner.com, access to Brave magazine articles, and Kerry's current blog post. All that in one weekly email. Telling American-made stories, selling American-made flags. TheFlagandBanner.com. Back to you, Kerry.
You're listening to Up in Your Business with me, Kerry McCoy, and I'm speaking today with the poet, educator, entrepreneur, and survivor, and hustler, he says, Mr. Chris James of Little Rock, Arkansas. If you're just tuning in, you need to go back and listen to the beginning of the show and hear Chris read his own poetry. It was really wonderful. I want to know if anybody else cried.
I cried.
No, I think my boys were trying not to. So, Overcoming the Odds is the name of the TED Talk that you gave.
Mm-hmm.
And you gave 4 steps to success. Let's speak to each one of them and tell us why they're important. I'll just name them real quick. Believe, go to the mountaintop, jump, and focus. Let's start with believe.
That's what I'm talking about. You did some research, Kerry. I didn't even remember my TED Talks and my points.
Okay, I'll tell them to you.
I appreciate it. Believe. I talked about the importance of believing in my TED Talks because I think the first step to success, just like when you started the Flag and Banner Company with $400, somebody else probably would have looked at you like, that's crazy.
I'll tell you the one they thought was crazy, when I bought the Taborian Hall downtown.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a burned out building when I bought it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But you were crazy enough to believe in yourself, And I was listening to what was it? The Apple commercial with Steve Jobs. He was giving a speech, and he talked about the people who are crazy enough to believe that they can change the world are usually the ones that do. And I'm a strong believer that you have to believe that much in yourself to be successful. And for a long time, I believed in myself, and so I used the quote in my TED Talks that Peter Pan was told that if he believes and thinks happy thoughts, he can fly. And there are a lot of folks who never get an opportunity to fly in life because they simply don't believe in themselves. So how do you want somebody to believe in you or to invest in your idea, to invest time in listening to your ideas or your dreams when you don't wholeheartedly believe in them yourself? So I think that's the first step to being successful. Like, you got to believe it. No matter how much you doubt yourself, or no matter how much negative things you've experienced in your life, no matter how much trauma, no matter how rich you're not, right? No matter how much support you don't have immediately, you got to believe, right? When I opened my art gallery, November 2014, the House of Art, a lot of folks didn't believe that it was possible. But Chris Rock said that people will ride past you, right, while you're on the side of the road with a broke down car. But once you get out of that car and start pushing that car yourself, watch people pull over and start helping you. Because once people see that you believe in your own vision, they'll start standing behind you. And I've experienced that with every project I've ever done. Once people saw I was for real about it, they got behind me. Because, he believes in himself. He's a visionary.
A visionary, a power of positive thinking is kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
You've got to talk yourself up.
You got to believe. You got to believe that you are able to do.
And then the next one, go to the mountaintop.
Oh, man. Come on now. Go to the mountain. All right, I'm writing these down so I can remember what I used to talk about in that 2015 TED Talks. So go to the mountaintop. I think I heard that quote from Steve Harvey. He talked about going to the mountaintop, and then I kind of paraphrased it from there. But I took that because you will never know if your wings work. So this is the way I look at it. We all have wings. Mm-hmm. We all have the potential to be birds, but like Maya Angelou talked about, some of us are caged birds, right? Mm-hmm. And you will never know if your wings work if you don't go to that mountaintop and just jump, right? And often, sometimes we go to that mountaintop, we take the risk, right? That's what the mountaintop jumping from the mountaintop is all about. All it means is taking the risk, right? And Mark Zuckerberg says that the only risk is the risk that you don't take, right? So you will never know if your wings don't work if you don't jump off that mountaintop, right? And sometimes we jump off that mountaintop and then we just give up. We just fall to the ground and bam, because we didn't know how to fly the first time. But that's the thing about flying. Even little birds, when they're pushed from the nest the first time, a lot of times they just fall. But that mama bird make them get back up so they can learn and they can keep trying to work those wings until you know how to master that flight. You can't just jump and expect to be fully soaring. You got to take that risk, you know. So I believe wholeheartedly in jumping off that mountaintop so you can see what it feels like. And jumping off the mountaintop can be scary. It can be uncomfortable. And anything that's great, that's major, is going to be uncomfortable. Like you right now being at the beginning of your success, of anybody's success, like it's gonna be uncomfortable. But success comes in mastering your discomfort.
That's good. Success comes in mastering your discomfort. I have a friend who says if you're not getting out of your comfort zone every week, you're not living.
Exactly. Yeah.
It seems a little excessive to me. I don't want to do it every week. Maybe once a month, once a year.
Yeah.
My mother used to say about me, she'd say, Kerry, you just jump off buildings and build your wings on the way down.
Yeah.
That really spoke to me when I saw that in your TED Talk so that was go to the mountaintop, think big, believe in yourself, dream, believe that you can do it, dream big, go to the mountaintop, take that risk, get up there, climb up to that mountain, and then jump off. That was your third one, was to jump off. And your last one was focus.
Yeah.
You will fall to the ground if you don't start focusing on how to fly.
Yeah. And also it's easy to forget what your focus is. You got to focus on your focus, you know?
You said that once you started being successful, that old girlfriends, old buddies, all these people started coming around, all these old ways started coming up, and you're like, I had to get focused again.
Well, that happened to me, man. Like, I remember when I joined the military, I went out to basic training after high school. Well, so I joined the Army after high school, and I remember coming back and being at the movie theater with my old friends, you know, and them getting into, again, I'm fresh back from basic training, maybe a week or two, and I'm an American soldier now, right? And then they get into a group fight with another group of dudes, and my homeboy got knocked out, like, he on the ground, and I'm like right here, and it's like, I can't jump in that because I'm focused on my focus. I'm focused on getting out of the ghetto, out of poverty, right? So I can in turn get my kids out of that. So when my brothers get out of prison in 25 and 40 years, they won't have to come back to that, right? I'm focused on my focus. And it's easy to get distracted because people you love will distract you from your focus. Especially when you know, and it's human for people to be jealous. You know, that's a human thought, human behavior, you know, and they will unintentionally sometimes distract you. Like, you about to work today, bro? On your dream? You sure you don't want to come kick it with us? Right? So it's easy to get. You sure you don't want to come smoke a blunt with us? You sure? We got like 3 girls over here. You sure you don't want to go? Right? So it's easy to get distracted by things that you used to do with things you used to be a part of. Like, Kerry, when you first got married, you know, I saw them pictures of you in the magazine. I knew you was a hot mama.
Thank
beautiful.
You.
He's still beautiful, you know.
Thank you.
But I knew when you probably first got married, you were focused on your man. As soon as you got married and you was working on being happy, some of the old dudes started hitting you up like, Kerry, what's up, girl? What's your fine self? You know, right? And that's because that's what happens when you focus on your focus, right? Those old distractions just start coming out of nowhere. But you stay focused on your focus, and now 30, 40 years later, you got these beautiful sons, right? You got that beautiful business. You got it's a beautiful life, you know, because you stay focused on your focus, and it ain't always perfect. I know that, but overall, y'all made it happen, and y'all raised these children together, and y'all made it work.
We did. He's brought back memories. I just got flustered there for a minute. I was like,
Dang, Larry did it. Trying to hit me back up, didn't he?
Why did you speak on developing relationships?
Oh man,
You said it's important to develop relationships, and then you have relationships with Wildwood Performing Arts and the Thea Foundation, and you said, I love the way when you talk in prose, but it sounds like poetry because everything kind of is, I don't know, it seems profound. You said, what you know, it's what you know, it's who you know, and it's who knows you. Why is that important?
Man, you can be the most talented person in the world, the most talented. But if nobody knows that you are the most talented, like right now, if I was a rapper, right, or what I say I was a rapper, I know who P. Diddy is, I know who Dr. Dre is, I know of them, right? But if they don't know of me, it don't matter how great I am, right? If the gatekeepers don't know me, it don't matter, right? So that's important. That's the importance of who you know, right? But also, so for me, start early on in my career, I just started naturally, initiating relationships with people. And then I slowly saw the importance of what that did for my career. And these were organic relationships. Like I've been knowing you for like a month now, a little bit over a month. But organically, we've established a relationship. You booked me for your fundraiser event. You brought me to your to your radio station, and now you and I are building organically. So I'm just give you a perfect example. I have no college degree, but I've had the opportunity to speak at colleges across America. I've had the opportunity to speak at the U.S. Capitol. I've had the opportunity to train educators on how to better educate their own students. I've worked with thousands of students across the country teaching poetry, theater, and hip-hop in these classrooms, right? And I was always this talented. I was always passionate about doing what I do because at once upon a time I was doing it all for free, right? But now I'm able to do it for a living. But it was because I established those genuine relationships. I initiated them. I built them like a house, right? And I maintained those relationships. And eventually those relationships benefited me in major ways. And now, because of all that, I'm able to just wake up every day and be a poet, to be an artist, because of those relationships. So relationships are so important. Like, for example, your sons are able to benefit from something you started because of that relationship, right? And that's the same way we got to look at relationships with people in the world. Like, I tell students all the time, like, you should go to college not for necessarily the information, but those relationships are so important because that's your first space to be able to, like, for real network in. Because 4 or 5 years from now, those people who you went to college with are going to be decision makers. They're going to be major influencers in the world.
That's good advice.
Or wherever. You go to college to network, but also you go to learn some rules so you can then learn how to bend the rules, right? So, like literally, if you go to school, if you go to college to be a sound engineer, you go learn it the way that they teach it, and now that you've mastered how they teach it, now you can go bend the rules a little bit, right?
Make it yours.
Yeah, but that networking piece is the most important across the board. I know people right now who just graduated from college who can't find a job because they never did the networking piece first.
Don't throw people away.
Exactly.
Collect them.
Collect them.
All right, you did a poetry. You did a poem at the fundraiser for Dreamland Ballroom.
Yep,
you
thank y'all
remember
for
it?
having me.
It's
Yep.
a great one. Okay, this one's uplifting. You ready to do that one? What's the name of it?
It was called You.
Oh, that's right, You.
Yeah, it was a simple name,
And it's a fun one.
Yeah.
We'll do it with you.
What's up, Miss Winnie? What's up, Sarah Spradlin? What's up, everybody tuned in? Thank y'all for checking us out. Here's the poem.
Okay, let's do it. Chris James, You.
So this poem is about being enough. I know a lot of times we feel like we ain't enough and that we ain't where we're supposed to be. But this poem is telling you that you are where you're supposed to be. And enjoy your process. That was a burp. You got a lot to smile for. You got a lot to live for. You got a lot to do, so you can't give up now. You got a lot to smile for. You got a lot to live for. You got a lot to do, so you can't give up now. So this is a poem for all the humans who ever had the nerve to question their own existence. You know, God called me and told me to tell you that he designed you imperfect on purpose. There is nothing in your mirror you should question. Your flaws are beautiful, accept them. Don't listen to what them naysayers be telling. Tell them you ain't buying what they selling. Because what you already got is a top quality, an unbuyable commodity. Came straight from the source. When you were born, you were pure gold. When you pop from your mother's belly, ain't nothing you need missing. You are extraordinarily exquisite. You perfect in that picture. You hang on the walls of hearts like art. No need to alter your image. For the rest of your days, be bold and resilient. In the toughest of times, I want you to rise from the ashes like a phoenix. Your presence is a present on Christmas. It's anticipated by many. They sit and wait on your arrival like children wait on Santa to come down the chimney. Your entrance into the room is grand. Nothing about you minuscule. You are well-rounded. 360. No degrees missing. For the rest of your days, hold your head up high as if you are on a mission, because you are. You got a purpose and you are on purpose. Don't live life like you are accident. You are fully insured, so rest assured that your greatness is already written in stone. I saw a man who was homeless and hungry, but y'all, he was smiling from cheek to cheek. When in my opinion, he had two good reasons to complain. But his joy is a reminder that there was always a ray of sunshine somewhere. And just because you don't see it immediately, don't mean it ain't there. Sometimes you gotta open your eyes, lean in and look a little bit closer. There was always beauty in the blemishes behind the borders of the basics in the background, like a background singer with just as much gift from God as the girls and the guys in the front. And just because they shine bright, don't make your light dim. Stop comparing, you are not like them. And just because they got it doesn't mean you don't. Sometimes you just gotta be patient, because maybe your miracle's marinating and your blessing is still baking, and you can't rush perfection. God is an artist, so respect his. You are a magnificent masterpiece. You know, you're made in the image of the Most High. With the faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. Now that's magic. So why you worrying when you're supposed to be the child of a warrior? You got it. Everything you ever desired is already inside your heart. There is no need for a Wizard of Oz when all you gotta do is open your eyes and realize that it's always been there the entire time. You got a lot to smile for. You got a lot to live for. You got a lot to do, so you can't give up now. One more time. You got a lot to smile for. You got a lot to live for. You got a lot to do, so you can't give up now. That's that piece.
Love it, Chris James. Name of that poem is You. We love that poem. I want to tell everybody real quick that we're going to take a quick break. And I want to remind everyone we're broadcasting live every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. Central Time on 101.1 The Answer and Up in Your Business with Kerry McCoy's Facebook page. Also, on Fridays, a re-airing of the show is broadcasted on KABF 88.3 at 2 p.m. and a podcast is made available on all popular listening sites and YouTubes. We'll be back with Chris James, the man, the myth, the poet, and the educator after the break.
It's time to think about flag and banner for Christmas gifts. And we've got lots
I haven't heard this commercial.
This is one you recorded today.
Oh, I like it. That's a fun poem, isn't it?
It is.
Mm-hmm. So you said it re-airs on Thursday at 88.3?
What?
Friday, 88.3. Mm-hmm.
80, at KABS.
And I can send you a link too. So.
Okay. Cool.
Tom is so good.
Yeah, he is.
Have you heard this one?
Well, Madison wrote it.
Paper with a little finger painting on it. You wondering what they'd really like?
Madison
Shop
wrote
at
it.
flagandbanner.com. Click on Gift Shop for a Christmas present they'll love. Flag and Banner, located at 800 West 9th Street in downtown
that's
Little Rock.
good.
Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5:30, and Saturdays, 10 to 4. Online at flagandbanner.com.
You're listening to Up in Your Business with me, Kerry McCoy, and I'm speaking today with poet, author, educator, entrepreneur, playwright, and visionary Mr. Chris James from Little Rock, Arkansas. I would say if you have any questions, you can call him, but we're running out of time, and so I think I'm going to skip that. We can hit that. People can reach you at thechrisjamesjourney.com.
Yep.
And how else can they reach you?
They can reach me on all social medias as it relates to Chris James Journey. So you can just put in Chris James Journey, website, Google, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It'll all come up.
And you will come and speak to groups and do seminars on from K through 12 on.
Yeah, I speak to any group, K through 12. I do college. I do, organizations, educators, trainings. Yeah, I speak to any group. Yeah, I'm a motivational speaker. I'm an inspirational speaker. I even teach you how to make a living off your art.
I do love that part about you.
Mm-hmm.
You teach people how to turn their art into their business.
Yeah, there's no reason you should be a starving artist, especially if you're good at what you do.
And passionate, I guess. So here's some of your quotes. I promote that success is not a destination, but rather a process, a journey.
Come on now.
Nothing? You got nothing to say about that?
Hey, that's the whole spiel behind, the journey. Embrace the journey. A lot of folks get overwhelmed by the for instance, you building a house and you realize that, man, in order to build that house, I gotta get a new roof. I gotta get the plumbing done, the electrical, this whole shebang. And a lot of folks get distracted from their focus because they get overwhelmed by the whole picture instead of realizing that it's a process. Just do a little bit at a time. It's a journey, not a destination. You can't just pull up to it and the house is done by the snap of a finger. You ain't Sabrina from the witch show we used to watch back in the day. Mm-hmm. It's a process. You got to build a brick at a time, especially when it comes to your dreams. If you guys have watched Les Brown, he talks about the bamboo tree, and I'm going to paraphrase this story. But the bamboo tree is a tree. It's a plant that grows in I think in Japan. I'm paraphrasing. Look it up later for yourselves. But in short, it says that it takes the bamboo tree 5 years to grow, but it doesn't break ground until the 5th year. Like you got to water that plant, that seed, for 5 years, right? And on the 5th year, it breaks ground, and within months, it shoots 50 feet in the air, right?
Really?
So that's what I mean by process. I met somebody said the other day, Karan Joseph Riley, an actor. He says that if you're getting into your field and you don't expect to be in it for 20 years, just get out. If you expect to be successful in 2 years, 3 years, if you're not willing to wait and work towards it for 20 years before that real success is there, just get out the business.
I worked a part-time job for 9 years before Arkansas Flag and Banner could pay my rent.
Yeah.
That's discouraging.
Yeah, it is.
If I'd have known that starting it, I probably wouldn't have done it. I'd be like, what, for 9 years you're going to have to wait tables while you do this?
Uh-huh.
You also said, in order to overcome the odds against you, you must become aware of them.
Mm-hmm.
You spoke about that earlier.
I did.
About you've got to know what's wrong with this picture to know how to ever fix it.
Yeah. You don't know. If you don't know you're drowning, you don't know that you need to swim.
Everything he says is poetry.
Hey,
What's
Hey, that's real, man. It's a lot of folks drowning, and they don't realize they need to swim. That you for real need to start moving your arms, and And like a fish don't know that water is around them because they've become so used to it, right? And there are a lot of people who are in these waters, right? And they not even fish. You ain't even supposed to be in this. But you've been told since the day that you were born that you're supposed to be in this water, but you don't, like, bro, you dying. Like, you need to swim and get to dry land, right? And that was me. Like, I was living in poverty. I was living in, and I realized I had to get out.
Were you homeless?
Nah, I wasn't homeless.
I thought I read on there that you were homeless at one time.
That ain't me. A lot of artists be saying they were homeless. Nah, whenever I didn't have a home, I went home to my mama's house. She always accepted me back.
Is your mama still alive?
She's very much alive.
That's
good.
Yeah. Try is a fixation of failure. Do it. What does that mean?
Oh man, I always tell folks to remove doubt words from your mind, right? When you say, so think about it. When your mama told you when you were young that I'm gonna try to do that, or when you tell yourself, man, hey, you gonna pass that test in physics or chemistry, Kerry, I'm gonna try. You're already doubting yourself.
Oh.
So remove try from your vocabulary. Remove might and maybe and probably from your vocabulary because you are subconsciously doubting yourself and already setting yourself up for failure. So try is a fixation for failure. You are fixing yourself up for failure when you speak try from your mouth.
Wow. Okay, here's another one. There is not a shortage of opportunity, just a shortage of people executing.
There's not a shortage of opportunity, just a shortage of people executing on theirs. So I believe that there's this bank of life, right? And everybody got their $1 million in it, right? But it's a wall in between the bank. And it got it got guards on the walls. You got these barbed wires on the wall. That's separating you from your bank, from your $1 million in that bank of life. And there are a lot of folks who don't realize that them guards they just there to protect somebody from getting to yours. They don't realize that those are friendly waters. And all you gotta do is just go over there and grab what's yours, right? So there are a lot of people who are fearful of the unknown, you know? So, and we scared. You know, people are afraid to step outside their comfort zone and jump off the mountain. So go to that wall, go over it or go around it, whatever it takes, and get to your bank of your $1 million or your success, because we all have the ability to get what we need if we go to the bank of life and get what's ours already.
Do you believe we all have a destiny to fulfill?
Yeah, we definitely all have a destiny to fulfill.
What's yours?
Man, my destiny is definitely to inspire people to be more. I had a movement. I still have a movement called Redefine Your Success. And that movement consists of, again, getting people to identify their struggles so they can create solutions to overcome, so they can then redefine their success. And I'm doing that on so many levels, you know, by educating young people to see that it's more, you know. When I became a father at 16, you know, I didn't necessarily know that there was more out there for me. And I wish I had a Chris James to tell me and show me that it was. It wasn't until I was an adult, you know, like 20 years old, that I met black people who had college degrees and owned homes. So growing up, I didn't believe that was something that was possible. So I believe that I can be whatever that was tangible. Like I saw the drug dealers, I saw the rappers on TV. So these were realities that were tangible. So that's what a lot of young people are going after. You know, so I want to show young people that it's possible to be more than what they see. Young people who come from
What if they don't
like
have
me.
Chris James? How do they find it? How do they figure it out?
I think that's a loaded question. I just think we got to just keep reaching. And
I guess you would say they find it out by dreaming big.
yeah,
Not letting fear stand in their way.
Mhm.
I think fear's crippling. You've talked about it a lot. Dreams are greater than fear. They're captains of our destiny. And that people make excuses to not chase their dreams, like, but just not right now, or I don't want to make the sacrifices, or I'll wait for something supernatural to happen.
You did your research, Kerry. I like, these are for real quotes that I done said. I ain't heard them since in a decade. Like, I'm like, I didn't say that. Like, you dug deep. Oh my God. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, it's
I
all
feel like
true.
I've said all of those things to my children when they were growing up.
Yeah.
Don't let fear keep you from fulfilling your destiny. Dream as big as you can dream and believe you can get there.
Dream big. I used to be scared to dream big.
A lot of people are scared to dream big. I got in
Yeah.
trouble all the time for daydreaming.
Yeah.
And I think it's a wonderful thing. I daydreamed all the time about what my life would be like as an adult.
Yeah.
Not that it came out exactly like that, but it gave you a goal to work towards.
But do you know how beautiful life would be if people actually believe their daydreams, though? Like, I personally know people, their biggest aspirations is having their own apartment and a car. That's their biggest aspirations. I know people that I grew up with who ain't never left the state of Arkansas, right? Like going to Memphis, Tennessee is huge for them. Huge, right? But imagine if people actually believe that, that their daydreams could become a reality, man. Life would be so much better, so much more beautiful
For everybody.
for everybody.
I want to tell everybody you're listening to Up in Your Business with me, Kerry McCoy, and I'm speaking today with poet, educator, author, entrepreneur, and survivor, Mr. Chris James of Little Rock, Arkansas, and that he's available to hire. He hires out. He's absolutely an inspirational speaker. So his website is thechrisjamesjourney.com. And anytime you type into any social media, Chris James Journey, you're going to get in touch with him, and he will come and talk to you. I did have one more poem I wanted you to read, but we've run out of time that I'd never heard you do that I saw on your website. I highly recommend go to his website. He's got lots of YouTube videos that you can watch and get your fuel for the day. Chris, I have a gift for you.
Come on, gifts.
Come on, gifts.
I like gifts.
It's a U.S. and an Arkansas flag.
Oh!
Of course. And there's a stand so that you can put it on a desk. Do you have a desk, or do you just travel out of your car all the time?
Yeah, I have a desk.
So that
I
goes.
don't use it.
He doesn't use
it's
it.
full of stuff, but
It's where it's a shelf. You have a desk shelf.
yep.
That's what it is.
Amen.
So I have
That's
really
official.
enjoyed visiting with you. What do you want your legacy to be? One word. One word. What do you want your legacy to be? Okay, two
My
words.
children.
Oh, sweet. Did you hear that, children? He brought his children down here. Look, they're
Yeah.
not paying attention to daddy. Those
Yeah.
are some comfortable kids. When they're not paying attention to their daddy, they're secure.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Chris, for all you do.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
Man, everybody make sure y'all get connected with me, man. My next big project
Oh, yeah.
is the Arkansas Theater Festival, which is happening March 5th through the 7th, 2020 at Pulaski Tech at the Charts Building.
When is it?
March 5th through the 7th.
We'll
So-
put a link on Arkansas Flag and Banner's website also, so you can go there and type in Chris James's name, and we'll have a
Please.
link there too.
2.5 months away. Please.
Anybody can sign up for it.
Anybody. Yeah, we have.
You don't have to be a student.
Anybody can come watch the shows.
Okay.
We have plays coming from LA, Atlanta, Nashville, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, of course. And it's going to be a lot of great stage plays. 12 stage plays in 3 days. So come
Oh,
see
that'll
it.
be great.
Yeah.
I want to tell everybody thanks for spending time with us, and we'll see you next week.
You've been listening to Up in Your Business with Kerry McCoy. For links to resources you heard discussed on today's show, go to flagandbanner.com, select radio, and choose today's guest. All interviews are recorded and posted the following week. Subscribe to podcasts wherever you like to listen. Kerry's goal is simple: to help you live the American dream.
Hey, everybody on Facebook. We had a great time
Yeah, man.
with Chris James, poet extraordinaire.